After days of driving, we finally made it to Baja, California. Our first few days were spent driving south, in the rain, heat, and the winds of Baja, just to get to the coast. We stopped by a couple beaches recommended by locals and iOverlander as we made our way south, towards our destination. The northern side of Baja doesn't have many villages in it, so make sure to stock up on gas and food when going. We went to a beach called Punta. We stayed here for a couple days and is definitely a must-go-to when exploring Baja. The water here is very warm and calm, and there is a village not too far to access food and water.
Luckily, we had solar panels to power our AC to keep us cool in this hot place.
We loved this place so much because of the sunsets and beach walks we took. Baja has one of the most unforgettable sunsets. At night, we would watch movies under the stars or finish up school using our Starlink for internet. We decided to head out to the main road. We saw cars stuck under the sand due to the recent hurricane.
We are currently leaving the beach that we were at for about 2 days, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna head to a new one.
What are you doing, Zara?
We're deflating the tires so we can get through sand better, right?
We deflated the tires just in time because the sand was getting pretty soft. It felt like we were floating. We soon realized that the path Google Maps brought us to was damaged due to the recent hurricane. We could literally see the highway we need to get to, and my dad even walked right on it. But our van sadly couldn't make it through the damaged road, and we made our way back and tried another route. The second route we took started to get harder and harder to do, and there was less and less recent tire tracks on the road. We decided to head back again and try our last route. We finally found our way back, remembering different landmarks we drove past on our way in.
We are so lucky to have a 4x4 vehicle with us to be able to drive on these different paths and no stress.
We made it to our next beach here in the Bay of Los Angeles. The water here is very warm along with the rest of Baja and is filled with wildlife. I really enjoyed having meals on the beach with the wonderful view of the ocean.
Okay, we are currently chilling at this beach. We're about to go swimming. Daddy's already in the water. I'm gonna go join him.
As I mentioned earlier, there's so much wildlife in this beach. You can see birds diving to catch their fish in the water and even dolphins swimming in their pods. We would wake up almost every day to see them playfully swimming around. We are very lucky to have a shower inside and outside of our van so we can rinse off after every swim. The road we drove on our way out of the beach was badly damaged. The recent hurricane had removed so much of the sand underneath the road that it had nothing to hold it up. It just fell. We woke up the next morning in a new beautiful place. We ate breakfast in peace in this isolated paradise. There are so many places all across Baja like this, it is impossible to miss them. This was our last spot before hitting the border and crossing to Baja California Sur. But before, we need to get out of our sleeping spot and go through some more rough roads. We finally crossed into Baja California Sur and could not wait to hit another beautiful location.
How does it look? Is it hard to climb up? Woo! Hot, 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 hot.
We made it to this massive sand dune here in the middle of Baja. The sand was warm on our toes, and Max and I had a fun time running around in the different dunes around the area. After Max and I would get all dirty with sand, my dad would use our air compressor for our tires and a brush by our door to clean us up before getting into the van. A very useful tip.
Max is currently fishing, and we are currently in Baja California Sur.
Max spent a large portion of his afternoon fishing here almost every day. Max and I decided to sleep in our tent under the stars here in the dunes, so we set up before it got dark. We headed out towards the salt flat, but accidentally got stuck in the salt. We got in pretty deep, but we were so lucky to have a skid plate to help us protect our engine. Life was covered in salt when we finally got out and made a note to wash it next time we can. We stayed by the salt flats mainly to rest up and recover because some of us were feeling under the weather. After a speedy recovery, we drove to the next beach. This place was covered with bugs. The next day, we moved to a bugless beach to do some school and call our teacher back in Canada. We drove towards the town and saw a lot of structures underwater due to the hurricane. It's so sad to see the effects of the storm here. We found another beach here close to town to sleep in. The sunset walks here were gorgeous. We love sunset so much because it is the time when it cools down after a long hot day, when you can truly enjoy the outdoors. My parents woke up early in the morning to see the sunrise and enjoy the cool part of the day before the sun beats down on us. When we parked here the other night, we got stuck in our own sleeping spot. We let it be because it was leveled and a perfect spot to be in. The downside is we still need to dig ourselves out. As I say, if you don't get stuck, you are not having fun. Our max tracks are a true lifesaver. If you are an overlander and still don't have them, why? We finally found a surfing beach just outside of the city. We were really excited to get back into the water. When I got back, we made some smoothies with our Vitamix. It really is a special treat to have in places like this. We went to an Oasis Town to visit its famous church. We didn't stay for long because we wanted to head back to the coast. We made our way to the Bay of Conception to a beach called Santispac. We stayed here for a bit too, but headed to Laredo to celebrate Mexico's independence. They had shows, dances, and songs to celebrate Mexico's independence and finished off with the famous Viva chants, meaning long live.
¡Viva Laredo! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Baja California Sur! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva!
They had fireworks, sound makers, and so much more different kinds of celebrating happening all at once.
Daddy, where are we?
We're watching the Baja Race.
Yeah, we're just waiting around for the last cars of this Baja Race come through, and then we're gonna see them jump through the air.
Laredo 400.
Yeah.
As we were driving out of town, we realized the streets were almost empty, and we asked someone nearby why. He said everyone was down to see a Baja Race. This was an opportunity we could not pass. The cars don't seem like they're going fast, but they are. Life could never match their speed on that road ever. After, we decided to head back to the Bay of Conception to a new beach called El Coyote. We liked this beach more because there was a massive mountain blocking the sun for parts of the day, making it a bit cooler. Baja is very hot, especially when it comes to the summer, so spots like this are gold. The water here is super warm and shallow for swimming too. It's so blue, it's simply jaw-dropping. Who knew such beauty existed? After another long day of driving, we made it to the famous Agua Verde beach. We rolled in late at night and woke up to a beautiful scenery. The road to get in is very long and bumpy, so there are not a lot of tourists here, making it an overlander's paradise. I really like the water here. It is filled with a lot of fish and it is very refreshing. Other parts of Baja, like the Bay of Conception, have very warm water that it is almost not refreshing, so this was perfect. I really missed having to think about jumping into the water because of the cold. I also really missed skin diving, so this place was perfect because of the deep waters and the scenery below. Max is actually getting really good at skin diving now. The next morning came. After a dip in the water, we decided to head out.
We're currently driving back from Agua Verde and we're super close to the cliffs right now.
I didn't realize how close we were to the cliffs when we came to the beach, but now with the light of the sun, I can clearly see.
There's currently local boxing going on. Max and I are rollerblading around here and there's just so many stuff. So let's go, Max.
We spent the rest of the evening watching local boxing, rollerblading, and traveling by the water here in La Paz. After a night in the city, we found a beach just north of La Paz. We went swimming in the waters here, and Max and I spent hours and hours of our day just collecting shells underwater.
In Valandra right now before taking our ferry to the mainland of Mexico.
We did not spend long at this beach because we needed to catch our ferry to the mainland. We drove to the port, drove on, and they packed us pretty tight, but nothing we can't handle. We simply could not wait for the adventures we would have on the other end of the water. Stay tuned to see where we go next!